Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fun List Friday here on the Eat Sleep List YouTube channel. My name is Matt Johnson, your host, and today we're talking about the final of our 4 pro sports team jersey lists with my personal favorite, professional football and the National Football League. Let's make a list. NFL is back, baby. That's right. The long-awaited return of regular season NFL football. It is here. Last night was opening kickoff game between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I do not know what the score was because I'm recording this the Saturday prior, but I'm sure it's going to be a great game, all right? Maybe, possibly. One of the best rivalries in all of sports history, especially the National Football League. How could you go wrong? How could you go wrong with it? I love football. I do. And even though I had a rough separation with it earlier this year because of how bad fantasy football was going and how bad the Colts were, it's a part of me that I just can't let go, no matter how hard I try. All right? I'm done with fantasy football. No, I'm back. I'm back. At the time of recording, I just drafted my family league, and I have 2 more drafts tomorrow, and that will be the completion of this year. But I love football. I love the family feeling of it. All right, I love watching football with family. I love watching football with friends. I love watching it with people. The community aspect is so important to me. I can watch football by myself all I want. And it's just not the same as watching it with the people that you love and care about, which is something that I encourage each and every one of you to do this year, is make an effort to spend time and watch football with people. It's great. It's a great olive branch to connect with folks. Yeah, it really is amazing. I'm going to be watching a lot of football with a lot of good people this year, and I am elated to do so. But we're talking NFL uniforms today. And the NFL uniform aspect of it is quite exciting. I've spoken highly of the other major sports uniforms, right? Baseball, basketball, hockey, all some pretty cool ones. And eventually I knew that we would get to do this one. And we actually started doing the jersey lists 5 months ago with the basketball one. I think it was right before the playoffs started, and then we did hockey, and then baseball, and then, there's only one more to go, and I figured the best time to do it. Never thought we'd get to this point. This year is flying by, but the best time to do it is right here, right now. The opening kickoff weekend extravaganza. So we're going to talk about NFL jerseys, but I remember my first NFL jerseys. I remember Drew Bledsoe's Bills jersey, I think, was the first one that I ever got. And I believe that the next 2 were my Peyton Manning and LaDainian Tomlinson ahead of the school year. So Drew Bledsoe Bills, that weird dark blue jersey, that one that they just kind of swapped to after the Music City Miracle. That was the first one I think I ever received, and that was a Christmas present. And then the next 2 I ever got were the Peyton Manning and LaDainian Tomlinson ahead of my 2003 school year. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So I've loved jerseys all my life. It was always so cool getting a new jersey to wear around because wearing jerseys was a little bit more popular back then. Now it feels like if you're wearing it and it's not at a sporting location or especially a football game, it's just a little awkward and weird. I actually really don't see people in jerseys much anymore. But it was cool, and I view it as a badge of honor. In fact, my jersey wall at my last studio, I had football jerseys because I loved collecting them. It didn't matter if it was Colts or not. It didn't matter if it was a great player or not. I wanted the jerseys. So I collect them. I did. I have over 70 in my entire collection. Okay. And we're actually going to talk about some of them in the next segment. I'll explain that in just a moment. But I love NFL jerseys. I'm very passionate about them. They're very, very cool. They tell a great story. And I'm very, very excited to rank my top 10 with you today. All right, everybody. You may have noticed that all of a sudden I have a pile of something next to me. And that's because I brought in some of my jerseys. Okay. In fact, in the other room, I was organizing before this recording the jerseys, which ones I would bring aboard and which ones I wouldn't. But I have amongst my friends, a jersey curse, that we like to call it. All right. And I really started collecting jerseys heavy in 2015. Didn't matter who it was. Didn't matter what the player was, how good they were. It didn't matter. I just loved collecting jerseys because I do. I think they're a fun icebreaker. I do, but there's a large part of jerseys where I buy them and something happens. Either the player gets really badly hurt or traded or something or other. And so I have a lot of jerseys that weren't so iconic, but that's part of the game. I don't know. Again, I like it. If you see somebody walk around with some of these jerseys, you'd probably be asking some questions like, why? Why do you have that jersey on specifically? But that's what we're doing here today. So got a lot. We're going to run through them all. Well, not all of my jerseys, but all of the jersey cursed. The cursed jerseys, all right? And some of them may feel like a reach, but there's a fun story or two with each and every one of them. So let's start off with this one. I got my boy Carson Wentz. All right, Colts legend Carson Wentz. Bought that jersey with one of my COVID checks. I was like, okay, we're going through some stuff out here. I'm gonna buy a something stupid. So I bought a Carson Wentz Colts jersey, and good Lord, for those who don't know how Carson Wentz's Colts story ended. The Colts had a 97 or 98% chance to make the playoffs at the end of 2021. All they had to do was win one game. They lost both of them. And the last one, the Clown Town game, which I have referred to on occasion, was against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where they were favored to win. The Jaguars were getting the number one pick the following year. Terrible. Terrible, terrible team. Or number one, or they were definitely one of the worst teams in the NFL. And Carson played like dog shit, and I hated him for a long time, and then they finally traded him, and never seen him again. All right, next one. No comment. Moving on. There we go. Let's see. Oh, Anthony Richardson. Oh. Bust. All right. I will say, I should say, after I threw that one to the ground, I've never regretted a jersey purchase. I really haven't. I think it's just fun. I think it's just funny to have. But I will buy, especially the Colts quarterbacks. There's a couple that I still want to go out and get from past jerseys, but I'll get them all the time. But yeah, Richardson, not great. This one's fun. So, does anybody remember when Sam Darnold played for the Carolina Panthers? I do. It was going really good for like 3 or 4 weeks, and at one point, Darnold was balling out. I think he had him at like 4-1 or something. This was 2020. Was this 2021? I think so, yeah. Was doing awesome, all right? He had a game where he had like a bunch of touchdowns against the Cowboys. So I was like, you know what? I need a Panthers jersey. I'm going to order a Sam Darnold one because I'm rooting for the guy. I love Sam Darnold. And his story is magnificent, his resiliency. I hope he does well in Seattle this year. Anyways, he has those great couple weeks. So I'm like, I'm going to go and buy this thing. And I hit click, and the next day, he broke a bunch of stuff in his back. And that was it. That was it for Sam Darnold in Carolina, basically. I mean, he was there for another year, but, not good. Not good. So as soon as I hit purchase, his career was ruined in Carolina. But he's doing great things now. So yeah. All right. This one. Andy Dalton. I really love this jersey. the story from it. And, well, first and foremost, Andy Dalton was my first fantasy football quarterback. And he did great things for me. And I was really excited for the Bengals to do something good because the Bengals, prior to Joe Burrow, have had a long history of mediocrity and even worse than that somehow. And bought the jersey. It came in. I was hyped up. All right, he took me places in fantasy football, and then he hurt his thumb, and he sprained his thumb, and that was it for the year. The Bengals were one of the best teams. They barely lost to the Broncos, who won the Super Bowl that year, and in the regular season. But I don't think Dalton even played. But even if he played, they might have won. And the Bengals, it could have been the Bengals and the Panthers in Super Bowl 50. Bought the jersey, came in, busted his thumb. All right, moving on. I love A-Rod. I love Aaron Rodgers. Bought this jersey. Epic fallout with the Packers onto the Jets. All right, moving on. Jacoby Brissett. I purchased this the night after Andrew Luck retired. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, Jacoby Brissett's my guy. We're going to rally behind him. He had the Colts off to a great start, and then Quentin Nelson got pushed right into his knee sprain, season in the tubes. All right, who do we got next? Oh, Matt Ryan. Oh, Matt Ryan. Damn it. There was a couple good moments. My favorite part of that year, and this is a sarcastic favorite part, I spent so much money on Colts tickets because I wanted to see Matt Ryan play in a Colts uniform before the season started. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Matt Ryan is awesome. Matty Ice in the blue, and this dude's a legend. It was probably well over $2,000, plus everything else that went into it. But the tickets were, when I bought them before the season, they were quite expensive. And I didn't get to see Matt Ryan play once. All right, the game I got to go, I went to Indy. I watched the Colts and Chargers go head-to-head. Me and my brother went. And they put out Nick Foles. And then the following week, me, my dad, and my uncle went to New York to watch them play the Giants. And Nick Foles got destroyed. Some dude was doing snow angels next to him. And then I got to watch Sam Ellinger play. So, hugely excited for Matt Ryan in a Colts uniform. And it did not turn out too well. You know what? Yeah, okay. Baker Mayfield. Baker's doing great in Tampa Bay. He really is. But when I bought this in 2020, was it? No, it was 21. It was ahead of the 21 season. And they had their big fallout. He got a little bit hurt, playing hurt, and then he was kind of out. So it's a bit of a reach for that one. Here we go. Right back on track. Russell Wilson, Denver Broncos. We all know how that went. Eesh. All right. Who do we got next? Oh! Stephon Diggs. I do love Diggs as a player. Got this one right as he was on his way out to Houston. Carson Palmer. Okay. Bought this one. So they made their big run in 2015 where they made the NFC Championship game. 15-2 regular season. Carson Palmer. Awesome year. Bought this. Should probably watch that. Bought this. Pretty sure Carson Palmer broke his arm and then retired subsequently after that. So, sorry, Carson. My bad. All right. Oh, Anthony Richardson again. So, okay. So, I bought this one. Obviously, this is, I think he's a bust. But I bought this one, and I was at the game, the first game, 2023 season opener, and he hurt his knee at the end. So, it should have been a sign of things to come. Peyton Manning, legend, icon. This one might be a bit of a reach, but he kind of, I bought this, and then he was so bad in 2015 statistically. Just playing hurt, and then he retired. But it's Manning, so it's like it's kind of justifiable, but okay. Here we go. Jay Cutler, my dude Jay Cutler. I freaking love Jay Cutler. Y'all have no idea. I knew it wasn't going to be good. I bought the Jay Cutler jersey out of spite because everybody hated it. And I was like, this dude's awesome. He does not care. And I actually wore it to the Bills-Dolphins game. Taped my thumb up because he was always hurt. That was the joke. He was always hurt all the time. Like his thumb was always messed up. And I brought in the fake cigarettes and all that stuff. And I watched him throw 3 interceptions in that game. It was so bad. And obviously Cutler retired after that. So, Derrick Henry, it's a bit of a reach here, but I bought this right before they kind of let him go. I think anybody could have seen that one coming. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Derek Carr. I bought this around the same time as the Sam Darnold one, I think. And that was, let's see. No, I did not. So this was in the head of the 2022 season, and this was supposed to be the great year with Josh McDaniels, and Derek Carr ended up not finishing the year with them. They just sent him home, and then they ended up just letting him walk and going away. That's what it was. Sorry, Derek. Jonathan Taylor. All right. JT's he had one really good year. He's had some other pretty good years. I bought that one ahead of his 2022 campaign, and where he got hurt, and I drafted him number 1 overall in one of my leagues. I talked about it in the worst fantasy football draft picks episode. Got a nice Saquon Barkley one here. All right, I don't think he plays for the Giants. No, he doesn't play for the Giants anymore. There's a lot. I'm going to save this one. This one's probably my favorite story. Eric Ebron, Colts tight end, 2018, awesome year. I think he had like 12 or 13 touchdowns, but he had like one of the best statistical tight end seasons of any Colt ever as a tight end. And the next year, he got hurt early, double ankle surgery, and Chris Ballard said he'd never bring him back again because he hated him. So, Matthew Stafford of the Rams. Bought this one in 2022. This is after their Super Bowl year. And he got hurt. And their season stunk. So, sorry, Matthew. Mac Jones. Yep. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we got the two. Let's do this one. So, let's start off with this one. Andrew Luck. I bought this jersey. So excited to watch him play. I wore this to the week 1 opener, Buffalo and the Colts in 2015. Bought this halfway through the season. Lacerated kidney. So that's great. And then this one I bought ahead of, it was in the middle of the 2016 season. And he would finish the season hurt. There was an alleged snowboarding incident where he hurt his shoulder, wouldn't play all of 2017, and he eventually retired. So I got two Gardner Minshew's here. Got that one. And I got so hyped up for Gardner Minshew, I bought this one too. That stupid pass, the end of the 23 season. All you had to do was complete that pass. And Minshew was on his way. This one, Kirk Cousins bought this, and they didn't pay him, and then he ended up leaving Washington. But this is when I really realized I had a jersey curse. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jets color rush. This is my favorite story that I love to tell. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick had a tremendous 2015 season, right? Jets are They were like one game shy of making the playoffs. All they had to do was win in Week 17, and they would have got in. But they didn't. It's whatever. It's whatever. Next season comes around, and I realize that they're playing the Jets are coming to Buffalo. They're going to play the Bills on Thursday night. So I was like, okay, this is pretty exciting. I want to buy a jersey just to be a little bit of a rebel rouser, but because I mean it's Fitzpatrick. Like I love watching Fitzpatrick play. Bought it. He balled out. Did fantastic. Did awesome. Like he had a great game. So I was like, oh. And then the next week when the jersey came in, because I didn't get the jersey in time, but in between that week and the next week, the jersey came in, and Fitzpatrick just was awful. I think he threw like 6 interceptions against the Chiefs, and a bunch of other things. It was so bad. It was terrible, but absolutely embarrassing. And then he barely played. He was on again, off again with the Jets. But that was like, I don't know. That was his last like great run. He had a little bit of a good stretch with Tampa Bay, but as far as being a full like tenured season quarterback, that was his like the Jets one was a really good one until it wasn't. So sorry, Fitzy, but that is my jersey curse. All right, those are my jersey curse jerseys. I hope you find a little bit of humor in it. It's fun. It's fun. I used to love having them up there on the wall and people asking, why do you have that jersey? Well, here, let me tell you a story. So it's been a great icebreaker. All right, here we go. My favorite part of every single video that we do. It is time for the top 10 list. This time, my top 10 favorite NFL jerseys. Please feel free to comment along. Whether you have one to name, a couple, 10 dozen, it doesn't matter. Please comment, interact. I love the discourse that we sometimes get on these videos and other pieces of content that we produce. Feel free. Email is always open. eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com. Shoot me a text if you know me on a personal level. But here we go. We're going to run through this one really quick. I don't know. There's not a whole lot I can say about each and every one of these jerseys, but these are my absolute, like, just favorites. So here we go. Let's see how long this takes. My number 10, I'm going to go Homer, I know. Indianapolis, Baltimore Colts away jerseys that they've had since 1956 all the way to the present time. Obviously, there's been some minor variations, but I've always liked the away white jerseys. It's especially with the white pants. It's like an icy look to it. I don't know. It's especially with I miss the blue face mask. I should point that out as well. But there's just something so clean about the all whites. It's really hard to describe. Indy has not changed their jerseys much. In fact, the Indiana Knights jerseys that they've added fairly recently, I think it was 2 years ago, that's been the kind of most change that they've done, even though it's not a full-time jersey. It's just a special event jersey. I don't even like it that much. They've stuck with tradition, very much like the Raiders have, where they're kind of just, this is what we are, this is what we have. Once in a while we throw you a bone, but this is it. But I love the all-whites, and I think it's one of the best away uniforms in all of football. So number 10, the Indianapolis Baltimore Colts away jerseys. Number 9, we're going with the same color scheme, basically. In 2016, the New Orleans Saints introduced a color rush jersey with, they call it, we all call it like the white Power Ranger one, but it's the all whites, but it's got that gold lettering, and the helmets look really good with it. I hated a lot of the color rush jerseys or uniforms. I really did. Some of them were so bad, like Jacksonville with that dark yellow. Right? Yeah, they had the dark yellow. Tennessee had like that all blue. There was some really bad color rush ones. I didn't like it. 90% of them. But the New Orleans Saints one had the best one, hands down. They do continue to use it to this day. But yeah, it's clean. Again, if you do an all-white jersey, just right. It looks great. So, Color Rush, New Orleans Saints. That's my number 9. Number 8, I'm going to do for the Atlanta Falcons, their home jerseys from 1990 to 2002, which was the all black. And he had the Falcon logo from back then with the long wing on the side. But there's something really cool about all black uniforms too. I really like looking back. Like, it's weird to see Brett Favre wearing the all black. Like, it's back, obviously he was drafted by the Falcons. Really cool to see him in that look. Like, it's unique. But yeah, like, even if you think about just back then, they had those bright reds, which I didn't mind, the red helmets, the red jersey tops. But what a change. It was a serious approach to their uniform. So I like the Atlanta Falcons old all blacks. And they bust them out sometimes for throwbacks. It doesn't hit quite the same. It doesn't look as clean as it did way back when, but I like it because I remember the Super Bowl that Atlanta went to, 98, when they went up against Denver, and I don't know, enjoying that run as a kid. It always stands out with me. So that's my number 8. Number 7, the Washington Redskins, 1972 to 2019. Their home jerseys, the burgundy, the gold. One of the best color schemes of all time. And obviously they've carried it over with the Washington football team and into the Washington Commanders, but there was something like, I don't know, just, I know it's such a controversial name thing now, and I understand takes from both sides. I really do. But I don't know, I see those really those dark burgundy jerseys, and it feels like classic NFL to me. I don't know. The new stuff, the Washington football team stuff, the Washington Commander stuff, it's too clean. It's too new. But there's something old school about the Redskins uniforms that just, I don't know. They stood out. They felt, I don't know. Again, they just reminded me of football. Fall weather, winter weather, and just classic hard-hitting football. So that's my number 7, the Washington Redskins. All right, my number 6 is the Houston Oilers. Their uniforms, their jerseys specifically, they call it I think more so in the early 70s, it was called a Love You Blue. But it's just got a really cool look to it. I like the predominant blue to it with the kind of the red lettering, the red accents. I have 2 Houston Oilers home jerseys. I have a Warren Moon, which was gifted to me by my good friend Will, as well as a Steve McNair jersey. So I got some of that, which is always really nice. But really sad when the Oilers went to Tennessee, because they honored it, but they didn't embrace that color scheme. And they bring it back sometimes, I think, but it's just it's not the same. It's not the same. So, Houston Oilers, that's my number 6. Number 5, growing up in Buffalo, New York, to me, the epitome, the pinnacle of football uniforms was the Buffalo Bills. Their home jerseys that they wore from 1984 to 2001. I have a Jim Kelly one out there. I guess it's not the same kind. I have a kid-sized Doug Flutie one, which I guess he would have wore. There's been a few different iterations of the Bills jerseys over the years, and they've done some that have kind of been a little bit of a throwback to it, but I like that darker blue that they had. I love the red helmets, and I'm really excited that they're going to be bringing that back. It's always a cool aesthetic to see, but I really, really enjoy the 90s, and obviously 80s too, but the predominant 90s Bills uniforms. There's just something so comforting of that to me. I remember going back, and my dad, mom would take me, my sister, along with my Uncle Mark and my cousins Hannah and Molly. We all go to the Bills games. And the aesthetic of the Ralph back then, with the red end zones and the red walls and just the Marlboro advertisements and Red Dog and all sorts of stuff. That's what that jersey means to me. That's the definitive jersey of that time in my life, which is, I guess that makes sense. But that's my number 5. Number 4, love the Denver Broncos Orange Crush jerseys. I do. That bright orange with the little bit brighter blue on the helmets. I did like the little bit darker version that Denver brought out. Was it a couple years ago? Yeah, they did it a couple years ago, and I remember Drew Lock was wearing it. They were playing against the Bills, and they brought it out. And I thought it was a neat little throwback, but the OG having it, it's very of the era. They wore those from 79 to 96 before they got the big, the modern upgrade for the Broncos jerseys. But yeah, Orange Crush Denver Broncos. That's my number 4. Very cool jersey. Number 3, the St. Louis Rams. A little bit of the LA Rams too, I guess. But 73 to 99, they wore these. And the new LA Rams have a tribute to it. It just doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel very 90s to me. Like, when I think of those jerseys, I think of Marshall Faulk. I think of Kurt Warner. Even though, even Jim Everett, like just the dark blue with the bright yellow, it just popped so much. And it's kind of crazy too, because I think a lot of this is based on perception. Like, I remember how cool the 2000 St. Louis Rams jerseys were, where they had the dark blue with that that gold. It wasn't even it was like a dark gold, like tan color that they introduced. Like, that was cool at the time because it was fresh, but I don't know. This one is always great to me. I was really excited to see when the LA Rams decided to bring it back. I was. It's nice. It is nice. Number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their creamsicle jerseys. I have a Tom Brady creamsicle jersey, although he never got to wear one, from what I recall. But they wore these from 76 to 96. And another example of this. Like, how cool were those, red and charcoal jerseys that the Bucs brought out in the late 90s and early 2000s? They were different. The digital, almost like the digital clock kind of numbers, the analog clock kind of numbers. It stood out, but it's so clean now. Like, I love the orange with the white helmet and the winking pirate. It makes for a cool aesthetic. I think it's a nice example that too much of one thing is bad, but if you do it just enough, it looks good. And what I mean by that is, the Bucs brought it out, I think, last year for a throwback game against Detroit. And they might have done it one other occasion. But it just, it looks cool. It's really cool. And I would love a Baker Mayfield version of it. I would. It's a great color scheme. The orange, you got the red with it, and obviously the white too. So that's my number 2, Tampa Bay Bucs creamsicle. My number 1, the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers. They've worn this for most of their run. I think there was a little bit from the 90s. Actually, it might have been mid-80s to 2000, because I don't think I seen Jim McMahon with a powder blue. But Stan Humphries, I don't remember seeing him with the powder blue. They brought it back around Drew Brees' time. But this is one, I was talking about this the other day. The logical choice, my logic choice, I always say that this is my favorite NFL uniform, which it is. It certainly is. The powder blue, the yellow, it's easily one of the best ones. I would love to see the Chargers, the powder blues in a Super Bowl. I would. The emotional part is, I feel like the Chargers have milked this out maybe a little bit too long, where now I'm actually those dark navy blue and orange there, kind of cool to see those again, maybe. Right? We talked about balance pretty recently. That's kind of where my head's at with that. I love it. It is the best jersey, hands down, in my opinion. But a little bit more balance with it, I think. You can incorporate the dark blues. They do all sorts of wild stuff out there with the Chargers, with their uniforms. They got like 5 different jerseys every single year. But there it is, everybody. My top 10 lists. My top 10 favorite NFL jerseys. My picks. All right. It's everybody's got their own interpretation, their own favorites, and that is more than okay. These are the ones that have tickled my fancy, especially when compiling this list. I thought long and hard about it. And some of these were no-brainers. Some of these I was like, you know what? I think these need to move into my top 10. And I'm grateful that they did. But that is it, everybody. Thank you so much. And have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Till next time, do you even list?